Oh, you talk.
You're strong. You're strong, huh?
Hello and welcome to the Soho Live Spotlight. I'm Vanessa Ayiku and I'm thrilled to be joined by Olly Ginelli. Olly, do you want to tell us a little bit about the film The Long Spring without giving too much away?
For sure. So, The Long Spring is a short film about a brother and sister called Aaron and Kika, who are in the back of a lorry with a bunch of other refugees. And they're, of course, all trying to get to a better life. And Aaron is a young teenage brother and he's super optimistic. He's one of those people that can just sort of do anything with his charm. And he's trying to keep his younger sister, Kika, happy and keep her spirits up, but over the course of days, you know, the water starts to run out, and the sort of theories that people are coming up with about, like, are we safe, are we going to get caught, start to wear him down. And then we kind of see, really, it's a battle between optimism and pessimism.
Wow. Okay. In a nutshell.
In a nutshell. Yeah.
And it's based on a true story. So how did you get involved in that? How did you find out about this story?
Yeah, so in 2016, I went to volunteer at the Dunkirk refugee camps, and I spent about 2 weeks there, and I met this guy who's an Iraqi Kurd who had to flee ISIS, and he made it to the UK after like 3 months later, after I'd left the camp. And we met up, had a big hug, had lunch, and he told me the stories. It was like hundreds of attempts that he had in order to get over here, and he successfully claimed asylum. And the stories were so harrowing, Vanessa, that a lot of them, I didn't actually put them in the film because you wouldn't actually believe it if I put it in the film. It would feel like Hollywood almost. But yeah, really harrowing things. And kept consulting him throughout the making of the film. We brought him down to set. And,
Brilliant.
And yeah, I mean, that was the biggest compliment I could have got. He said that he felt that the story was accurate and that he was really glad that it was being told.
And so were there things that he thought or you should change or tweak or make more authentic, or was he?
Not really, to be honest. It wasn't.
It's a compliment to you.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I guess all of that work was done in the script stage. So when I was speaking to him about things, we sort of got it all in shape there. So by the time we got to set, there's nothing which he was like, oh, that's a bit fake or unrealistic. Yeah.
And do you speak French? Or any of the languages that are involved in the film?
Unfortunately, I don't.
Oh, wow. Okay, so how did you get around directing?
That was tough. So it was really tricky because we shot in a studio much like this, and we brought the lorry into the studio rather than building a lorry because it was cheaper. That's all our budget could afford. And when we were inside of the lorry, there wasn't space to have the language translator who I had brought on to help. So again, for sound, we'd have to close the lorry door, do the take, and then open the lorry door back up. And then the translator would have to run from the monitor to the end of the lorry and say, just feed her notes in to them and tell me if they've got something wrong. So it's tricky, but I should have paid attention at French because I studied it. That's the worst thing. I don't even speak it.
I'm not sure how much would that give you buying a croissant and a glass of wine or something.
That's it, yeah, super plate. That's the bulk of it.
But you talked about the message of endurance in the story. And that for me, and the positivity that came through, for me, the intensity of the film came from maybe that mix of languages, and some of it's subtitled, some of it isn't. And it kind of builds the suspense of the journey and maybe being in there and not understanding what's going on. Was that intentional? Is that how you plan to kind of build up the suspense through the...
Completely. One of the things that I learned when I was in the actual refugee camps is, despite the fact that all these people from all these different countries are in the most desperate situation they'll ever be in, there was still a lot of culture clash between them. And I tried to put that into the film because I was surprised by that. You might
all pull together and support each other.
Yeah, you might assume that everyone's just going to start helping each other out, but it's not the case. And I wouldn't be able to sort of answer for you why it's like that's sort of a big answer, but yeah, that was really important to me to get that in there. And then also the language issues as well. I try to really focus on the fact that they have to speak English to each other in order to communicate. Things get lost in communication, and that raises the tension.
And what other big lessons did you learn from your time in the refugee camp that you kind of brought into the story?
What other lessons did I learn? It's a tricky one, that. I think it's the culture clash one is the main one. That's the main one that I learned. But then also, well, okay, here's the answer. While I was in the refugee camps, I discovered that there were gangs operating in the camps.
Wow.
So one of our jobs when we were there volunteering is to give out the blankets and the jackets, but there's only so many of them that have come from the charities. So when people would arrive, you have to prioritise women and children, and it's tough because you've got to say no to someone who's just walked miles and miles, giving them a blanket, because we know there's a group of women and children coming. But then what would happen each night is every time the refugees would try and get on the back of lorries, they were staying in these wooden huts in the camp, but there were gangs in the camp who were going and putting their own padlocks on the wooden huts and then charging the refugees to stay in them. I couldn't believe it. Yeah. And we saw the gangs in the camp as well. Like, they didn't like the volunteers because they kind of saw us as a threat and that we might inform the police. So that was the most
Quite a
scary.
dangerous setup then and situation. How did you navigate that?
I just tried to keep my head down. And, just try to sort of, like, you could kind of see who the gang people were because they were just hanging around. They weren't trying to get on the lorries.
Right.
So yeah, that element is definitely in the long spring, because one thing that was really important to me that a lot of people don't know about the refugee crisis is when people are coming here, they're not just risking being in the back of a lorry and suffocating to death or drowning in a boat. They're risking getting sold into human slavery, and that's one of the biggest risks.
Exploited on all levels.
On all levels, yeah. And we all know, well, most people know where that human slavery ends up. It might be in the sex trade, but then quite often it can be in construction sites and nail bars. And we, it just in the papers not too long ago that people were working 8-hour weeks at McDonald's. So even giant corporations aren't aware of
these things. Where you're going to find it, which is insane. And they feel like they've got no one to kind of open up to or turn to push back, okay.
Yeah, well, they've been threatened as well. Like the gangs will threaten their family. They say, if you talk to the police, we'll kill your mum. So
wow,
it's awful.
So back to the film and the tension that's created in the setup that you had. A lot of that is done with the sound and the sound design. Who did you collaborate with on that, and had you worked with them before, or
for sure?
What did you find?
We got very lucky. We managed to collaborate with Raoul Brand, and we got a favour from a sound house just down the road, and I'm blanking, which is terrible. But it's just because I'm on the spot. Forgive me. We can maybe put a subtitle in. It's important that we do credit them. But Raoul Brand had just worked on Adolescence before that.
Oh wow!
But when I was speaking to him, is while he was on it, and he said, "Oh look, I'm not going to be able to work because I've got this big project I can't speak about." And then managed to get him on board. So of course we were shooting in a lorry, which is in a studio, and there aren't roads and police outside, so we had to create all of that. And it's both a credit to the sound designer and the sound recordists, all the way to the actors, because the actors had to act as if they were speaking over cars, or there was police out there, and really it was just an echoey studio. So I can't take credit for any of that. They really brought it to life.
Well, great end job with it as well. But you talked about the actors there. How did you cast for it? How did you find the actors that were involved? Because they were amazing.
Yeah,
great dynamic. And great,
yes. Yeah. So again, credit to Aisling Knight and Tamsin, who are our casting directors on that. It was a tricky one to cast. For
many reasons, I imagine, yeah.
Many reasons.
Yep.
I mean, having to do auditions in French, in Arabic, in Russian, in Bulgarian. The English ones were fine, of course, easier. And I mean, Aaron and Kika were the hardest to cast because they, first of all, had to look like they could be brother and sister, had to be young. And one thing I learned is the younger the talent you cast, just naturally the less experience they've got. They've only been alive for so long. And then they had to both be fluent in French. And then in the case of Warren and Asiba, they both had different French accents, because Warren's accent's a lot more European,
Right.
whereas Asiba, she's got family from the Ivory Coast. They both do, but that's just how their accents are. So Warren had to then speak French with an Ivory Coast accent.
Wow.
On top of all of that. So
And who picked up that? The casting directors, that there was that kind of disconnect in the... Okay.
yeah, they helped to do that. And then on set, because I couldn't possibly be giving notes on an Ivory Coast French accent. So Clarice Samba, who was our language coach, she was also an actor. She was working with them on that. Essential. Like, I would have been lost without them.
Exactly. Things that you wouldn't necessarily think about yourself. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, no, they sound like they're from different parts of the world.
Yeah.
How did they react when they saw the finished product?
Oh, everyone seemed to love it. I mean, it's one of those things when you're at a screening, no one's going to say, I thought it was...
Fair enough, yeah.
But I believe them. I do think they're all proud of it. And yeah, it was a shame we couldn't get Sadi, the refugee, who's my friend who made it over here, down to the screening. But I sent the film to him, and yeah, he was really proud of it. And we managed to get him on a video call at the screening and show him like 250 people in the Curzon Soho, which is crazy to think all the way back from when he was in that hut in Dunkirk to now.
That kick-started the whole journey and the story. Is he coming to Soho Live?
I'm going to invite him. Yeah, I'll invite him. He's up in Newcastle, so it's a bit of a trek, but hopefully.
You've got time to plan.
Exactly. Yeah.
And what is it you want... What is the message you want the audience to take away? Or the key message? There's so many messages. But what is the key message that you want the audiences to kind of take away from the film?
For sure. I couldn't put the message into any sort of words, but I've got more of a hope that I feel like if anyone watched this film and they came away understanding what the refugees go through a little bit more, then that would be mission accomplished for me.
Be more empathetic and understanding of
what
how
people go through. And it's, I feel like that's the power of cinema, is people don't feel like they're being preached to, and it's a space where we can get messages across in a more digestible way. Yeah, because it's not the comment section of whatever platform you're on, and it's not
political or with an
you
agenda.
Can try and remove the politics a bit and just tell a story,
A human story
hopefully,
that people can understand. And is there a hope that you might, outside of the film circuits and cinemas, take it to various organisations to help share that vision of understanding?
Completely. We're actually in the process of applying for some lottery funding to do that. The Arts Council. So if you're watching, please look at us kindly. Yeah. Because what we want to do is the charity that we were partnered with, our point of contact left that charity. So we're going to partner with another charity and hopefully take the film around the country and do a bunch of community screenings with people who are both refugees and, just everyday people.
Great.
Yeah.
Great end to the film, to the process. Well, not an end, I guess, the evolution of how the story's going to continue and kind of spread the word and understanding of, as you say, what people go through in order to come here as a refugee, that we kind of gloss over a little bit, I think, in some respects.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the parts which aren't reported on, because journalists aren't getting in the back of the lorries or on the boats, and definitely not the end either, because this is the proof of concept.
Exactly. Yeah, don't tell them you need to watch it. Yeah. So make sure you do come and watch it. We'll be screening it in January at Soho Live, so we'll hopefully see you there. Thank you.